Hello and welcome back to Life Daily with Dawn. We're continuing the All Systems Go video series, and today we're taking a look at the Healing Map system, which is one of the 8 C systems. C is an acronym for Soul, Essence, Art, and Adventures, and this is all about a reconnection to your essential truth and the love you are at your core. Because you are a dynamic and sustainable system and fully equipped for thriving from within, this is all about a reconnection to what's already right there. It's not about fixing or changing anything. It's just about a reconnection because some of us have blocked our access to the light and the life and the love that we are at our core, to our essential self, our essential journey, our essential truth. So this is the Healing Map system to connect to your essential truth and the love you are at your core. These are momentum action pathways to turn pain to purpose and make your healing matter. So the first momentum action pathway that I want to discuss with you, let me get this to the right size, there we go, is to decide. To decide, the actual meaning of decide is to cut off other options, to choose a path and to go forward. So the first momentum action pathway in the Healing Map system to turn your pain to purpose and make your healing matter is to decide to grow and change. This requires a letting go of all that no longer serves you, and making a clear choice to set a new path in a new direction for your life. This doesn't mean that you have to cut off everything that's currently in your life, but it may require some shifting and changing. And more importantly, an opening to the possibilities that maybe you have yet to even imagine for your life. So strengthen your trust in your life as you make healthy choices and decisions. This first momentum action pathway is very much about a recommitment, moment to moment to moment, to be on a path of growth and change. Because many of us, if we look at our lives, at least before we were aware and awake, we, went through the motions and lived in a rather predictable fashion because we were acting from our subconscious and we weren't necessarily consciously choosing and staying on a course, a life course that was most beneficial and most aligned to our soul's truth and radiance. And so when we decide to grow and change, and we do that in the moment and in the moment and in the moment, it's an affirmation that we matter and that life matters and that our contribution to that life is something that we are willing to show up for, and that we're not going to stay stuck in the pain or, like I did, go zigzaggy back and forth all the time, so that it was a connect, disconnect, connect, disconnect. They say that you teach what you most need to learn, and this is certainly the case in terms of this reconnection aspect of all of these map systems for me. And so decide to grow and change. This is a continual process. It's a reconnection point that we always can make for all of these map systems. So in the Healing Map system, that's the first momentum action pathway, and the second is beautiful. It is to reach beyond the break, to acknowledge what is, that perhaps there is a gap, a chasm, a break that feels very much like it's us, but whatever it is, to reach beyond that break and to lean into life and to trust life to meet you there. And grace will be there for you. It'll rise up to meet you on the way. So risk the journey. This is about risk. It's about being willing not to give up, being willing and also not to continue to push forward, which is, those are the two extremes, but rather to just be present, stand in the gap like we've talked about, and reach beyond the break that you feel, and allow yourself, if you break open and let the sacred seeds of essence within you to be revealed, and choose to, as you make that choice to grow and change, the first momentum action pathway, choose to believe in something more. Choose to carry hope in your heart. Choose to find your heart and follow it, and follow the flow of your life day by day, moment by moment. It's always a recommitment. and this map system more than any other is often reminds me of that recommitment. Sometimes you have to do it 100 times in a day in the beginning, and then you notice, oh, I only had to do that, correct myself, 10 times today, or I only went 2 days this time, or I only went 2 hours, and so it's important just to be with where you are when it comes to healing, remembering, by the way, the wholeness map system we talked about yesterday, because you are already actually whole, and it's about remembering that. But in the course of our not remembering that we are whole, there has been much that must be addressed and attended to, and that is where this healing map system comes in. So the second momentum action pathway is reach beyond the break and really make that choice to dare to believe in life, but not push yourself, and not give up or surrender or fall back into patterns that are unhealthy because you just can't cope with what's happened. And it's hard for many of us, because we see our creation of it, unfortunately, because of the wound that we were unwilling to previously address. But there's always something more. And there is, if we reach beyond that break, and if we trust life, life will meet us. The third momentum action pathway in the healing map system is to draw upon your great learning. There's something you've learned in all of this journey that you've made. And you can use your own intuition and call forth your wise woman, your wise warrior within, and allow them to show you the next right step on your own healing journey or pathway. And it doesn't have to be a really public thing. It doesn't even have to be something that you speak about. Just quietly to choose the actions that are most in alignment with living in a way that is an acknowledgement of the sacred wholeness that that you are, and then to begin to connect more and more deeply with your essential truth that might have been buried quite deeply if you have encountered a number of life situations that have actually piled upon that original core wound, and maybe Google the 4 core wounds if you want to know more about that. But in any sense, this particular momentum action pathway is about drawing upon your great learning. There's something that has been learned in all of these experiences that are likely all related to 1 or 2 core wounds, often from childhood. If you believe in other lifetimes, you could, it's possible. I think that you're carrying that. Certainly there are collective aspects to each of our journeys, and so there's some of that, depending on, the way we were raised, our culture, our ethnicity, all of that. So there has been a great learning, though, that you have made or are in the midst of. So do some journaling around that and begin to draw on that and really call on that wise woman within or that wise warrior within you and ask them to show you every day the truth, and to lead you into greater your truth, to lead you back to your truth, not to give you truth, but rather so that you can reclaim the fullness of who you are. And once you've begun to draw on that learning, then the 4th momentum action pathway is to receive the hidden gift of your sacred wound, your blind spot, or your point of pain. Because there's a gift in it. And if you can see the multifaceted grace that lies beneath all of the surfaces of pain, the facets of pain that seem like walls to separate you, but are actually windows to your soul. So if you look through, if you dare to, acknowledge those various facets of pain that you have experienced, that you might be identifying as external right now. In the beginning, that's often what happens. There's whatever it might be. I had a fight on the schoolyard when I was 12, or I went through this situation in a relationship, or I was robbed, or otherwise victimized in some way, or whatever it might be, or there was that car wreck, that person cut in front of me, and if that wouldn't have happened, whatever those things are. And certainly, most of us carry things from childhood one way or the other, and so begin to identify those. But what the opportunity of the fourth momentum action pathway is to receive the hidden gift of your sacred wound, of your blind spot, of your point of pain. So be open to that and allow it to come to you, and see that these things, all these things that have happened, can be windows to a greater reconnection with your soul's truth and radiance. And they're not walls, they're not divisions, they're not going to keep you from a life of wonder and beauty and joy. The fifth momentum action pathway is to pivot from pain to purpose. This happens when we can see that, or when you can see that you are a lighthouse, that just for the sheer fact that you are here, you are meant to shine forth a light that is uniquely yours. And you have the ability also to choose where you will focus that light, and how you shine it, and when and where, and to what degree. And so begin to shift your attention to the desires of your heart and the call of your soul, and the purpose, that the meaning, not that there's meaning necessarily in everything ever that happens, but if you draw upon that greater meaning and purpose, and bring it forth, and take whatever the pain was, and use it to shine the light of hope to all of humanity, or in your little corner of the world, or even if it's just in your own life. Make a choice to pivot from pain to purpose. The sixth momentum action pathway is to create meaning, movement, and forward momentum. In a large sense, the 24 life systems are all about doing that. The first 8 systems are about greater meaning and a reconnection to the light that you are in your essential self. The second system set, the star systems, are about movement. They're about a reconnection to the life that you are at your core, and your essential journey, what the journey you have made and are making in this life, and integration and flow. And then the third system set that we're exploring now, the C system set, is about momentum. It's about a reconnection to the love you are at your core and to your essential truth. So allow your soul to lead you into more and more what is calling you, and just be open to what that is. And then as you connect with little pieces of it, and you might change, on the way, but as you connect day by day, look for and connect with that meaning, that movement, that forward momentum. The seventh momentum action pathway is to call out or connect with your tribe and communities of grace that can sustain you. So in the book I write, remember that some of us are leaders without followers, and others are uniquely equipped to create or call forth new communities. Follow your intuition and trust your own gifts to find their way to the audience they are meant to serve in divine timing. So this one's tough for me personally, and for many people that I know who have continuously come back to this healing map system, because it's difficult to call out or connect with a tribe and communities of grace when you have difficulties with even understanding how to do that. And so the best thing that we can do is, as we've practiced these first 6 momentum action pathways in the healing map system, and we begin to create that meaning and movement and momentum for ourselves, we just begin to share in the ways that we know to do. And we allow that to be us shining the lighthouse to the best of our ability, knowing and trusting in divine timing, and again in that grace that does reach up, that rises up and reach out. Yeah, it does. It reaches out to us, doesn't it? And it rises up to meet us on the way. And so, as you're able to look, not seek and as in go on a quest to look for, but rather keep your eyes open for communities where there is an aspect of that community that can offer support as you find and reclaim a whole new way of seeing yourself, being yourself, and freeing yourself. Now that might look like a lot of different things. It could look like a group of colleagues at your workplace. It could look like a church or a worship community. It could look like a therapy group. It could look like a group of old friends that you're connected with, via social media or telephone or, whatever, that are scattered around the world. It could look like a one-time community, gathering that you attend, or even something very informal, like a group of people that you meet, that you're talking with, a couple of people you're talking with, say at a bookstore or something when they're open again, or whatever, yes. So it's talking about tribe and calling out or connecting with tribe and communities of grace, but that can be a very, very simple ways, and can be a few friends here and there, and begin to, again, share your gifts as you feel led. And then momentum action pathway number 8 is a continuation of that. It is be a blessing. So turn all the energy that used to be dedicated and devoted to your pain, either the trying to keep it under wraps, so it didn't ruin your life, or your energy that you used to use to hide it, or whatever the coping mechanism was of your choice. But turn all of that energy that you used to pour into that, and turn it, rather than focusing on your pain and suffering or the pain and suffering of the world, turn it to love and service as much as you can. And begin with self-love and being in service to the higher and truer and deeper streams of your soul. Because nothing is a bigger gift to humanity and to the people around you that you do love and care for than to be a blessing by tending to your own soul and your own soul's growth. So bless and be blessed as you celebrate a whole new way of freeing yourself. So that's the healing map system for today. I'm going to repeat the 8 momentum action pathways to turn pain to purpose and make your healing matter. 1, decide to grow and change. Number 2, reach beyond the break. Number 3, draw upon your great learning. Number 4, receive the hidden gift of your sacred wound, your blind spot, or your point of pain. Number 5, pivot from pain to purpose. Number 6, create meaning, movement, and forward momentum. Number 7, call out or connect with your tribe and communities of grace that sustain you. And number 8, be a blessing. I may at some point try to get some of the materials I shared in 2010 when I interviewed 20 women change agents and leaders about how they had turned their pain to purpose and made their healing matter. And it was called the Make Your Healing Matter Telesummit. And I might try to find that resource material again and share it. And if I do that in the future, I will put it beneath this video so that you can access it here from the YouTube video or anywhere I've shared this video. So I hope that has been helpful to you. And so today, just start where you are and connect to the healing map system, connect to your essential truth. Remember the love you are.